Someone once defined a city as being maximum opportunities in a minimum space. A place where people are free to be what they want to be, and the sky's the limit for them to achieve that. I guess that's true. But everything good has its counterpart. This is the story of that counterpart, where the good meets the bad, happiness collides with sadness, and privilege meets depravity. This is the story of homelessness in Columbia, South Carolina. This is Columbia, the state capital of South Carolina. With a population of approximately 117,000 people living inside the city limits, it's a decent-sized city. And it's continually growing. Full of successful businessmen and women and happy families, there's one thing that many people know about, but have chosen to ignore.
Well, I wasn't homeless because I had to be homeless. I was homeless by choice. I decided drugs were more important than my place to stay at the time.
Well, the term homeless, a person who rents or who doesn't own their home is homeless. I consider myself addressless.
It hurts to be out here like this. And we shouldn't be out here. Nobody should. Not even nobody.
Kind of different times coming into Columbia, I noticed certain people that would just hang out in bus stops or ask for money on the street and things like that, and then kind of realized that there were a lot of people that didn't have homes in the city of Columbia.
The more I got involved in the homeless issue, the more I realized that it was a big deal here in Columbia. I started reading up on it, going to a couple of meetings like MOC, Midlands Area Consortium for Homeless, and just kind of realized the state of the situation and that we need change for our homeless here in Columbia. The last count they did in 2007 is more like 1,300, but it all depends. That's probably even a low number of homelessness. It's probably greater than that because it's hard to track a lot of times.
Part of Midtown ever since last March, and I was introduced by a young lady by the name of Beck, and one day I was walking down in 5 Points, and she asked me did I wanted to come to church, and I told her yes I did. So I came to church and I liked it, and I came back and I got baptized in October.
Brandon and I we were talking, we were working on the community missions team and looking at where and how our family as a group could serve together. We decided that homelessness was a big issue in Columbia, and we really wanted to make a difference in that. Being a very young family, we don't have a lot of money, and so we have a lot of people. So we thought we could do an event that would raise awareness.
This year for Homeless for the Homeless, I am the Service Provider Coordinator, which is just kind of a fancy title that I'm the guy who makes phone calls to different ministries or organizations that work with the homeless.
You know, there was 1753 was the last count that we had. What if we had that many people who slept out for a night, and we could just have a visual of, hey, this is a really big issue in our city, and we could present that to our city to say, hey, we need to do something. Present it to our churches. We have to do something. It's an issue that we can't ignore anymore.
This year for Homeless for the Homeless, we're going to start the event about 7 o'clock where people can actually show up. And then from there, once they've registered and gotten into the event, there'll be a place where they can kind of set down any of their stuff, like if they bring a sleeping bag. And then we're doing a thing called a walkthrough to visually show and create different environments of what it might look like for someone who is homeless.
Told us a lot about what the rest of Columbia is going through and what a normal day is for them, and a lot of facts about the homeless and really interesting things that you would never know or think about.
We live in a city where $4 million is being spent, and I'm all about pets, love pets, grow up with pets, lots of them, love them, but spending $4 million to build a shelter for pets. What are we doing for the people in our city that no one will touch?
The next day, we bring in the service providers who help the homeless. We're going to bring in things like free haircuts, free massage, that kind of stuff, games and activities, a lot of food and fun. And so the goal is to have those who are homeless as well as those who slept out and people in the community all there together.
You sleep out in the freezing cold, you realize what they go through every day, and makes you really appreciate a warm bed, a nice house. It makes you want to do something for the people out here that are sleeping in the cold every night.
That's pretty cool. I think a lot of people did a great job of bringing up donations because it helps the homeless if they ain't got all that much clothes. Right now I got so many clothes now, I don't know what to do with them all.
I think there's a bright future as more people get involved, and that's kind of our goal. We want to present to people the story of homelessness. We want to challenge people to change the story by getting involved with it, and the more people that get involved with it, the more change we'll see.
Last night I was down in 5 Points. A young man, 19 years old, from Alabama. He came in following a young lady, and the young lady dumped him. He had on a pair of short pants and a short t-shirt. And I asked him, was it cold? He said, yeah. I took off my sweater and I give it to him. Because I know how it is to be out there in that cold. You know what I'm talking about?
70% of America is one paycheck away from being homeless. 70%. And a lot of times we look at the homeless and we look at these situations, we say, well, they put themselves in that situation. It's because they were addicted to crack. It's because, you know, they had this gambling habit. It's because of this or that, or they made bad decisions or whatever it may be. Here's what I want to tell you. That is true for some of the homeless in our city, not all. So no matter what they've been through, no matter what they've done, no matter decisions they've made, good or bad, we still are called to be an agent of change, an agent of hope, an agent of restoration, an agent of redemption. That is our calling. And you guys, tonight is not the end of the story. Tonight is the beginning of us helping see the story changed in our city.